maybe 9 years ago, I did the big chop and cut all of my hair off. It was long down my back like Angie's, straight, you know, and my husband and my sons about died because I just got tired of the chemicals, tired of my scalp burning, tired of having to get it done every 4 weeks, you know, and I could use that money for something else. So I cut it all off and hated it at first. You know, because I was like, okay, this is a totally different thing for me. What do I do with my hair?
Shock.
Yes, you know, so it was trying to figure out how to do it. I was going to the barbershop to get my hair cut. It was just, you know, a whole different animal. So I went back and forth, you know, using texturizers just to kind of loosen it because my hair is extremely thick. If you cut my hair off, you could probably put some soap on it and scrub pots. That's that is how thick and tight the curls are. Yeah, listen, hey, that's the truth. That is how thick and tight my hair is, you know, and I didn't know what to do. About a year ago, I finally said, okay, I'm tired of this. What am I going to do? And when I first cut my hair and decided to just let it go, it was like, what am I going to do with it? And to keep it from looking like a boy and being in an afro, you know, my mother used to plait my hair. So that's what I started doing. I mean, it was maybe like an inch short, I mean, and I had like little nubs, but then as it started to grow, because what I was doing was stretching my hair, and then I would plait it and leave it and then wash it and plait it, and eventually it's gotten to the length. Now this is only a couple of months that I've been doing it, that it's this length, but you know, just like I said, it's like a sponge. Once you take it out and you wash it, it just like, because your hair is thirsty and it just needs more moisture, and I just use shea butter on my hair to, you know, moisturize it and get it to shine and help it to grow and keep it healthy, you know, and
shea butter ain't cheap neither.
No, it certainly isn't.
I went and bought some from the health food store.
Yes.
Men and natural hair is another thing that we wanted to touch on. So I'm going to read something real quick, but then I also want Miss Rochelle to respond if she's had, I'm sure, responses from people or the women, you know, in regards to that. I found an article, and it said, so many women who have made the transition from relaxers to natural hair have noticed a difference in the men they attract. While wearing your hair natural, you may have noticed that the men who are more serious and deep thinkers are approaching you for your telephone number. Dating men in natural hair. Men and natural hairstyles seem to be interesting, be an interesting situation, because since you are becoming more real about who you are and you are presenting a more confident vibe of self-esteem, you attract men who are not superficial but down to earth and interested in who you are as a woman of beauty. I was like, wow, okay. So some have even said that they get compliments from men who are non-black as well as a new type of man, whatever that means. Those who wear dreads or locks, and they seem to have more to say about what is going on in the economy, from politics to music to business, which I would say is a definite plus. I have noticed this myself now that I am natural, young lady who wrote this article. I attract a more socially conscious advocate male. I also see that I attract more white and Latin men as well. Maybe it's because of their fascination with black women in their natural state. Some young black women who are wearing two-strand twists, afros, banty knots, twist knots, braid outs, etc. say they are finding that older men are attracted to them and they are getting attention from men who are old enough to be their uncle. So what is the cause for this? Some say it's because men 50 and older remember the styles of the 60s, and the afro style makes them reminisce of the past of hippies era. So whatever the reason, women who wear their hair in natural curly kinky styles are getting noticed, and it is on an upswing and is positive. It is causing women to love themselves more, and the attention of a man who is attracted to their natural hair is more reason to keep up the fight for showing the world that it is okay to be different, and conformity is not always the best, especially if it's causing unnecessary damage to one's hair. What has been some of your experience that maybe you have found, whether men, even though you're married, because that still don't stop anything, you know, as far as them coming at you, but maybe some testimonials from other women maybe as to why they don't want to go natural, or you know what they found after they've done it.
Okay. Well, this is an interesting subject, especially I know a lot of women who are thinking about going natural come and ask me often, like, okay, are guys still attracted to you? Like, how does this work? Well, I've been married, of course, for 4.5 years. Got married pretty young at 20. But, I mean, growing up with my husband, I mean, I've been natural since I was 21. So, I mean, I know my husband absolutely loves my natural hair. He embraces it. And it's so funny because when I put in my extensions, or if I ever have a really horrible hair day and I have to run to the store and I put on my wig or something really quickly, he's like, dude, where are you going in that? I'm like, babe, do you see what's going on under here? He's like, no, dude, take that off. So I just put on like a tam instead, fluff my fro in the front and go. And he's like, okay, now you look like you. One thing, yeah, and it's like one of the things that I've spoken to my husband about, because he's my partner, of course, with Black Onyx World with Alikay Natural products. And oh my gosh, his friends, his single friends, come to these natural hair shows with me. And you'll see them, they're just like, oh my gosh, if I need to find a wife, this is where I need to be.
Wow.
And when they say things like that, it's like, oh my gosh, you take a step back and you think, how are we perceived? A lot of women are afraid to go natural because they think men are going to look at them and be like, oh, she's too sisterly, she's too down to earth, she's not, but maybe, exactly, like this Afrocentric mentality. Nowadays, when you go natural, you still define who you are. You can go natural and not be Afrocentric. You could just be a cutesy, natural chica. You can still be divalicious, do whatever you want. There is not a stereotype to being natural. And another thing that I realize, even though I'm married, when I go out, the kind of guys that I attract, yes, number one, definitely a lot of other ethnicities, especially white men, they're fascinated with natural hair. They come and they're like, oh my gosh, you're beautiful. And you're like, okay, thanks. And black men, the way that they approach you, before when I had a relaxer and I was walking down the street, I'd be like, hey, shawty, hey, this, they whistle at you, they say all these like comments and you kind of feel offended. Nowadays, they're like, hello, beautiful sister, how are you today?
Wow.
And it's, I mean, literally right there on Fowler. And you're like, wow. You're like, I didn't even know you knew how to speak.
Look, right.
And they're like, hey, beautiful sister, how are you today? You're lovely. So, you kind of exude this confidence, and it makes the men around you stand up to, they have to treat you better, because they realize that you look at yourself in a different way, and you hold yourself to a higher standard. Therefore, they can't just come to you with any other line. So I think, and my husband also tells me, when I have on, like, if I wear my hair straight or I straighten my hair for the week, he's like, you look like everybody else. Do you know what I mean? He's like, you have to stand out. That's not you.
You should have brought your husband on.
Oh, gosh, yeah. He would talk to me for a while about it. But, it's just the way that you feel, the way that people look at you. And I don't think it has a negative effect. And I do also believe that the type of men that you attract, going to, USF and being a part of, with Cantrella, being a part of the African American Student Association and Edison College, being natural, it's like the guys that speak to you, you're just like, oh my gosh, you're so well educated, because they realize in order to get on your level, they have to like step their game up. So you're still absolutely beautiful, and when you go natural, you have a lot more versatility with your hair. You can go straight, you can wear it kinky, you can do locks, you can do twist out, braid outs, you can achieve every style and look, and it always keeps your husband or spouse guessing what's next, with your hair.
Yeah, because right now I do that with the lace front.
Yes.
Anybody need to come to a lace front sale, y'all come to our house.
Exactly.
A minute ago, you mentioned that, these guys that go to the natural hair shows.
So I'm going natural now, look.
Oh, yeah.
You see already the style, right? So the next natural hair show, I'm going to be up in there to find my husband. But also, the next one, I'm speaking that, but the next one is going to be your hair show, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's kind of semi-local. It's in Tampa.
Okay.
It's our 3rd year hosting our show. It's the Fabulously Unique Natural Hair Affair. It's going to be on October 22nd in Tampa, Florida, Crown Plaza Hotel. For more information, you can check out the website, tickets and everything, blackonyxworld.com. It's going to be amazing. I mean, the diverse group of people that we're bringing in to host workshops, from locks to Asha Mandela, who is the lady with the longest locks in the entire world. She's going to be there. We have natural hair workshops. We have tons and tons of vendors with deep-delicious natural accessories and natural hair products. Pretty much I'm going to be there speaking to you one-on-one and just walking you through your natural hair care and just everything. And plus I have a huge, huge surprise for everyone who shows up. You definitely don't want to miss that. So
okay. October 22nd. So it's a road trip, sounds like.
Yeah.
All right. corporate America, what's like the feedback? A lot of people, I get that too, not just the men, but they worry about, you know, their jobs or getting promotions or different things like that if they're wearing their natural hair in a corporate setting. If they're either going to get the job or if they're there and decide to make the big chop, am I going to get that promotion even though I'm qualified, you know, I'm well educated, I have all the credentials to get it, you know, but they feel like if I do this, I won't make it.
Okay. Well, that's one of the questions that I've gotten quite often, and I can relate to this question. One of the things that I think people should definitely keep in mind, well, number one, when I graduated with my undergrad degree, I was on my way to law school, changed my mind, decided I'm going to stick and focus on my products. But as I was thinking about attending law school, I had to take this question into mind. And one of the things that you can do if you are natural or you're thinking about going natural and you're in corporate America, it's all about the way you style your hair. You can still do those exact same styles that your corporate counterparts do and just keep it very professional. I mean, doing sleek buns and pulling your hair back, tucking it back, you know, doing like French rolls with your hair. You can do 2-strand twists and kind of like slip them back. So it's all about making the styles work for you. But I don't think it's necessarily a huge disadvantage. It's just another stumbling block along the way that you're going to have to deal with. Number one, to be African American and be in corporate America is already a struggle as is.
And a woman.
And to be a woman, I mean, that's, you know, 2 strikes right there. But the amazing thing is if you've already made it into corporate America, then there's obviously something wonderful or fabulous about you. You either have the intellect or you have that drive that has gotten you to that point. You just now have to figure out exactly, you know, whether being the person and being natural is, if it's that important to you, then you have to make it work. You know, tiptoe steps. If you're transitioning, you know, try a cute transitioning style, see the feedback that you get, and, you know, make the necessary adjustments as you go. But remember, being yourself is utmost importance. No matter what pension plan or anything that you're going to retire with, you know, if you have lived your life and lived it happily and you are the person that you've always wanted to be and you're natural, then that in itself is an amazing reward. So
Amen. I love that.
Wow.
And also keep in mind that God is always with you, and when He is for you, who can be against you? Because if the position is yours, there's nothing they can do. They'll be wondering why they hired the girl with the big afro. You know, you'll sit at the table with the other 16 people around the board members, and they and they wonder how in the world did she make it? You know, one of the things that we talked about real quick too is some of this terminology. You don't have to go through all of them, but just maybe some of the things that stand out to you that you find is used a lot.
Oh, okay. Well, looking at the list you have, definitely BC, big chop. That's a huge one, which is pretty much when you cut your relaxer and you officially go natural. Whether you do an immediate big chop and you just cut it all off, or if you transition and slowly cut as you go. Transitioning is when you are making the transition, of course, from having relaxed hair to being natural. Whether you continue to grow out your hair for a few months or, you know, for a few years, it's all up to you how you do it. Co-wash me, that's a big thing. It's a foreign concept for a lot of people to think that you use conditioner to wash your hair, but it's absolutely amazing. Gets your hair just as clean as your shampoos do, but it also keeps your hair from drying out. So using conditioner to wash your hair, it substitutes that shampoo step and just leaves your hair feeling really soft and moisturized. Just make sure that the conditioner that you use does not have too many silicones in your hair, because silicones can cause product buildup on your hair, which can suffocate your cuticles, which can also help prohibit your hair from growing as quickly as it would be able to. A lot of people are very fascinated with hair types. It's not one of my favorite topics, but it's something that will come up a lot on the natural hair board, so it's good to familiarize yourself with it. Hair types are pretty much a typing system, so you can figure out exactly which hair texture that you have. Like for me, I have a 4A hair texture, 3C in the front. 3C meaning my hair is kind of loose and curly in the front, and the middle and the back are just coarse and coils, like really tight coils. Some people have type 2 hair. Type 2 hair is like big waves. Type 1 hair is straight hair. Type 4 hair is like the natural afro, kinky, curly hair. Type 3 hair, you can count it as biracial hair, pretty much. Or if you have, you know, corkscrew, like big spiral curls.
I got a full.
Yeah.
I
got
a full C.
Yeah. I mean, no, everyone, to be surprised, one of the wonderful things about our hair, our ethnic hair, is that you always have multiple hair types in your hair. You won't have one hair type all over. So, you know, being able to distinguish your hair types can be very helpful when it comes to picking the type of products that you need. If you have a type 3 hair, you wouldn't necessarily want to use something that is really, really heavy, because then it's going to weigh your hair down. But if you use type 4 hair, then you want to make sure you use tons of moisturizing ingredients. For instance, yeah, like our shea yogurt moisturizer, which is, you know, all about the moisture, but it's not too heavy on your hair. Holy Grail, I mean, you'll find the HG Holy Grail term more so on like Curly Nikki's forum or Mop Top Maven, those kind of websites, like Motown Girl. That's when they speak about their staple products. There's that one ingredient that everyone natural knows their hair loves. When you find that ingredient, you try to find it in all the products that you possibly can.